Hey, it's Mr. Keys, and today we're going to talk about playing chords with rhythm. The dictionary definition of rhythm is that it is a strong, regular, repeated pattern or movement or sound. Good rhythm can make almost anything sound good. So far we've learned how to create chord progressions and stuff like that, but today we're going to take a look at rhythm techniques with chords. Let's review some of the notes that we've spoken about in previous videos. The whole note is 4 beats. The half note is 2 beats, the chord note is 1 beat. There's also something called a dotted half note, which is 3 beats long. In Logic or any other digital audio workstation, we don't really work with musical notation in the conventional sense. So let's take a look at what these type of notes would look like in Logic by showing them in the editor. I'm just going to create a quick MIDI region right here. And down here, I'm going to create a note. Now, right now, this note spans the entire bar, and this would be how long a whole note is. It's 4 beats. Beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, and beat 4. If we want to create a dotted half note, which is 3 beats, then it would span beat 1, beat 2, and beat 3. It actually doesn't really matter where it starts. This is the length of a 3-beat note. If we want to create a half note, well, now this is 2 beats long. And here's a chord note, which is 1 beat long, right here. And once again, doesn't matter where it starts. This is still a 1 beat long note. Let's create a 4-bar progression using the 4 chords F major, A minor, G, and E minor. We're going to hold each of the chords for 4 beats long. Here's what the notation looks like. We're in 4/4 time. We start with F major. Then we go to A minor, then G major, then E minor, and we end with the double bar line, and each of the chords are 4 beats long. So far we've been holding all our chords for whatever total length they are. So in this case, each of these chords would be held for 4 beats and played once. I'm going to show you some rhythm techniques to make our chords sound more rhythmically interesting. Up until this lesson, this is how we've played our chord progression. Let's take a listen. Okay, let's write out the notation for these chords again. G major, E minor. The duration of these chords is still 4 beats long, but instead of just playing them once for 4 beats, we're going to play them twice. So that means each time we play it, it's going to be a 2-beat note or a half note. So let's put half notes for all of these, and then let's see what this sounds like. It's going to sound slightly different from the example that we just played. Take a listen. So that was slightly different from before. Let's change up the rhythm again. This time we'll break up each chord and play them using quarter notes. So remember, our chords are still 4 beats long. Let's take a look at the notation. Four, 4, and our chords are exactly the same. But this time what we're going to do is every chord is going to be played 4 times using quarter notes. And so on and so forth. This takes a little while to write out. Okay, there we go. So let's hear what this sounds like. Okay, and that sounds very different from the very first way that we played this. We can also mix up the rhythms for each chord, as long as it adds up to the overall value for each chord that we determined when we created the progression. It's all good. Let's take a look at some other variations. I'll write the notation again. So 4/4, F, A minor, G major, E minor. There's our bar lines. This time what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold F for 4 beats. A minor, I'll play twice for 2 beats each. G major, I'm going to hold for 4 beats. And E minor, I'm going to play for 2 beats. So there's kind of a little pattern. We hold for 4 and just play once. We play twice, 2 beats each. We hold for 4 and we play 2 beats each. So let's hear what this sounds like. Okay, that was definitely an interesting pattern. Let's take a look at another one. So let's rewrite that pattern again. Feels like we're doing this a lot today, but that's okay. And this time, we're going to play F like this. So we're going to play it 3 times. The first time we're going to hold it for 2 beats, then play it again for 1 beat and 1 beat. For A minor, we're going to hold this one for 4 beats. For the G, we're going to do the same thing that we're doing for the F chord. And for the E minor, I'm going to play this for 3 beats and then for 1 more beat. So we can see that this always adds up to 4. We got 2 plus 1 plus 1, that's 4. This is 4. 2 plus 1 plus 1, that's 4. And then we have 3 plus 1, which is also 4. Awesome. Here's what it sounds like. Okay, and I'm going to show one more variation. So let's write out our pattern one last time. We have F, A minor, G major, and E minor. And this time I'm going to hold F, I'm going to play it 4 times, 1 beat each. A minor, I'm going to play like this. G major is going to be the same as F. So you see that when I create these patterns, a lot of times, whatever I do for the first chord, maybe I'll do the same thing for the third chord, and whatever I do for this one, I'll do the same for this one. Now, in this case, the second and fourth bar are different, but you can be creative and create different patterns so that there's some sort of symmetry or some sort of pattern that you can see from it. Here's what this sounds like. In conclusion, rhythm definitely makes things sound more interesting. And I hope what you learned from this video is that instead of just holding the chords for whatever their duration is, you can inject some life into your music by adding creative rhythms like these.